purslane that we have from the studio garden can be really fun if you know what to do with it. But like a lot of the other sort of mystery edible plants that we have out there, it takes some looking to find out exactly what it is useful for. Now, first of all, a lot of the plant can be used, but primarily it's the stems, the small stems and the small leaves that are going to be the most tender and the most flavorful. The larger stems on the bottom of the plant, or the larger leaves, can also be used if you want to strip the plant like this. These you're going to need to cut up, however, before you do use them. Now, it tastes a lot like spinach, and it can be used a lot like spinach, although the leaves are so much smaller. In fact, you could probably substitute the purslane for almost any of the spinach recipes that you would already have. It can be used as is, as a salad. In fact, that's one of the most common uses, is to just use the leaves in a salad with a vinegar and oil dressing as you would a spinach salad. You can also cook it the same way you would spinach, by getting it wet when you wash it, and then just putting it with the moisture that is retained on the leaves, putting a lid on it and cooking it for probably about 10 minutes, just until it's got a nice wilt to it. What I'm doing with it today is another project that you could do. This particular one is a chicken soup, and it's a cream of chicken soup, and we've got that all ready to go. You could use any recipe or a can of soup or frozen soup, whatever. You need about 4 to 5 cups, and to that I'm going to add about 1½ cups of purslane. Now, this has been chopped. You could also put it in a blender if you don't want the leaves to be this big. You then let this simmer for about 5 minutes. And at that point, the leaves will have been cooked down so that they, again, would have very much a look of a spinach. You could, in essence, what we're doing is making a cream of spinach soup. This particular one has rice in it also. This soup is now simmered for 5 minutes. I'm going to thicken it with a little bit of egg. You could also use an egg substitute. Now, I'm going to add some of the hot soup to the egg rather than just dumping it in, so that we don't end up with a lot of cooked flavor in the egg that won't actually help us thicken the soup. We stir this in a little bit, and then stir that back into the soup. And when this is thickened, it will be done. You don't want it to boil at this point, because it will cook the egg in a way that you'll end up with more of a scrambled egg flavor rather than a thickening to it. The purslane, as I mentioned, is very much like spinach in flavor. The difference is in the size of the leaves. The nutrition is very much alike also, however, in that it is high in iron, although in all probability, I didn't find this to be verified, however, but in all probability, the iron that's in the purslane is probably not available to your body, so you're still going to be wanting to look for some of the other sources of iron in your diet. It does add a lot of vitamin A, however, and I think you'll like the flavor. It's kind of fun to try something new. For Oklahoma Gardening, this is Barbara Brown.